Mr. Lloyd. Mr. Lloyd, please go ahead. 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question's to the Quebec hunters and anglers.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lloyd, just before you can carry on, this will be a shortened round as well. There'll be one slot for each party, as last time. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
To the Quebec hunters and anglers, Minister Mendicino noted in a previous meeting that he's very concerned with the number of Canadians who are taking safety courses and becoming licensed firearm owners. Do you share the Minister Mendicino's concerns that people who are taking your courses and becoming licensed firearm owners pose a threat to public safety?
I'm not sure I understood your question. If I understood, you're asking if the minister is worried about the number of people, or if you're worried, or if I'm worried about the number of people taking safety courses. No. It means that Canadians want to safely use firearms. So no, on the contrary.
You know, it might surprise folks at the committee to learn that I already think there is an evergreen definition of assault firearms in this country. And that definition has been in place for a number of decades. Firearms that are fully automatic, that carry high-capacity magazines of more than 5 rounds are already illegal in this country. Are you aware of that? Is that something that you're aware of? Quebec hunters?
Yes, we're aware of that. There are prohibited firearms, and there are high-capacity assault firearms that are prohibited.
Sport shooters do not have access to these kinds of firearms, assault weapons, today. Is that correct?
C'est correct, effectivement.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, they're illegal.
Government's evergreen definition that they proposed, they said, quote, a firearm that is a rifle or shotgun that is capable of discharging centerfire ammunition in a semi-automatic manner that is designed to accept a detachable cartridge magazine with a capacity greater than 5 cartridges of the type for which the firearm was originally designed. Now, I think you and I can agree that we already know in Canada it's illegal to have a magazine that carries more than 5 rounds, but when this amendment says any firearm that is capable of taking a magazine over 5 rounds, we're talking about a lot of semi-automatics here. Are we talking about a lot of hunting rifles and shotguns that would be banned by this amendment? Do you agree with that conclusion?
On peut pas parler d'un.
Well, we can't necessarily. Anything that's semi-automatic, it doesn't necessarily have to refer to the 5 rounds. There is a risk that some of the firearms that are used, yes, could be included. And that's why we're asking actually for clarity in these amendments. We want them to be more specific.
Yeah. Yes, and that's what my concern about the evergreen definition that the Liberals proposed is that it would capture a lot of hunting rifles and shotguns, because even though magazines that carry over 5 rounds or cartridges are illegal in Canada, many of these firearms are designed to take magazines in other countries without these restrictions that would have over 5 rounds. So many commonly used hunting rifles and shotguns would have been banned if this amendment had gone forward. And that's a concern we have when writing an evergreen definition. And why I don't think it's necessary is because we already have an evergreen definition in this country that bans fully automatic select fire firearms, that bans firearms with high-capacity magazines. And this is an evergreen definition that has largely worked, that is politically not divisive in this country overall. And now we're talking about, you know, going after semi-automatic rifles and shotguns that are widely used by hunters, as we've seen from a wide array of testimony. And so how does the government try to come back and narrow this evergreen definition? And I just don't think they are capable of doing it, because any definition is going to be redundant, because it's already going to capture the existing evergreen bans, or it's going to capture a lot of legitimately and commonly used hunting rifles and shotguns. This is going to impact a way of life for so many people. Is this going to impact the way of life for folks who go through your courses and folks who are part of your association? Is that going to impact your way of life should these amendments go through again?
entièrement d'accord.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. In fact, we were surprised by these amendments because legislation already exists. So that's why it really has to be clarified. If the government comes back with amendments. But I absolutely agree with you. The legislation already exists. Is it necessary?
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd.